Old school automotive back again today, guys. I know it's been a while, but I've been busy with some stuff. One of those things is trying to get my carburetor in my 1966 Ford Mustang tuned as best as I can. So here just recently I went ahead and pulled it off and had a look at how it was set up with everything. And what I determined is that it was pretty well tuned. Right now we're looking at the chart for tuning that Edelbrock provides via online these days. So when you buy one of their carburetors, you have to take into consideration what altitude you're at. So here in Pueblo, Colorado, we're at about 4,500 feet, and as per Edelbrock's recommendation, we will go one stage lean for every 1,500 feet. Okay, so that would be, we need to be 3 stages lean, if that makes any sense. Now, the way that these carburetors work, this Edelbrock AVS2 is the one we're talking about, and the specific model number that I have is the 1906. So the primaries function almost independently of the secondaries, and you have to have them both correct, or you're going to wind up with lean or rich condition one way or the other. And I misspoke just a second ago. I apologize. So what I meant to say was for every 1,500 feet we need to go 2% lean. So we can see here stage 1 is 4% lean, and so we need to be just a little bit further there away on the leaner side. Now, like I said, my primaries were tuned at 16, and the only reason these are different colors here, from the whites and the blacks, is the white is a combination that you can acquire by using the rods and jets that are already in the carburetor. You don't have to buy the tuning kit. I did buy the tuning kit. So what I did is I tore it all apart, and what I was having was kind of flat spot and acceleration that had me a little frustrated. I didn't have a bog off the line. It was good if I stabbed the throttle. Everything seemed to work good. My kitty cat's gonna get right in the way here probably, but everything seemed to work good there. But I would start accelerating, it would pull really hard, and then all of a sudden there'd be a flat spot for a second in the RPM range until it started to rev up a little more. So I thought, maybe there's a possibility that it was something to do with the primaries. So I took the carburetor all apart, and I put in the 101 jet. So this next page down here is how we figure out what all these numbers mean. And so I put in the 101 jet, and with that 101 jet, there's a whole bunch. There's 18, 14, 13, 6, 4, 3, and 1 are all the combinations that use that 101 jet. And I tried every single one except 18, because I believe that's going a little bit lean. Watch, I'll put it back up here. Okay, and oddly enough, with that 101 jet and any different combinations of metering rods and springs, if I stabbed the throttle, whether off the line or cruising down the street, the car would just fall on its face, and it sounded like it almost wanted to backfire through the carburetor. I took that as being a lean condition, I really thought that I was going to be able to get that out of it by some kind of tuning of the secondary flapper, the air valve, or the secondary jetting. But no matter what I changed or tried, even accelerator pump positions, I could not get rid of that bog. So I went back to 16, which is a 9.8 jet, and it overall behaves itself much, much better with that 9.8 jet in there. And I think that's just because I'm that 6% lean area that Edelbrock recommends here at 4,500 feet. And so, taking all that into consideration, now I'm thinking that most likely I was actually getting a rich condition because I tried. You can see there on screen 14, 13, 5, 6. 13 was the closest, but it still had a pretty bad bog. I didn't try any of the other crazy stuff that's out of that general area just because of my altitude. And this is a mild built 289. It has aluminum heads. I think there are 100, don't quote me, 170 cc runners, 56 cc combustion chambers. It's Edelbrock E Street. Anyway, so I went back to the 16, got rid of all that problem of the bog and stuff. And while I was in the carburetor, I'm fairly certain that I determined, you know, there was one thing that was a little weird. I had 135 jet in the rear and 132 jet. If you've never messed with these little things, they're extremely hard to see. And I've had cataract surgery on both eyes, and so I really can't see up close all that well. But I got myself like a 10 times magnifying glass, and I was able to look at them real good, and I sorted them out, put them all in labeled bags so they don't get confused again, which I would highly recommend you doing if you have this Edelbrock tuning kit, because otherwise you'll spend more time trying to read the numbers on the jets and metering rods than you will taking apart the carburetor and putting it back together. It's actually pretty ridiculous. So anyway, initially I went to the 32 jets in the rear, and we can go down here and we can see the rear jetting, what it's suggesting here. So I have the 92 jets in the rear. I said 35 and 32. I meant my 92 and 95. So I had the 92s to start. As you can see, that's the 2 stages. But that is saying 12% lean. So that's quite a bit leaner than you probably want it to be here at 4,500 feet. And honestly, it did seem to run lean under full throttle condition with those 32 jets. So I went ahead, took the carburetor back off, took it back apart, put the 35 jets in, and then I keep saying the 95 jets in, these ones right here. I put those back in, and it did respond a whole lot better under full throttle. I was able to adjust the secondary flapper valve on it a little bit, and it really, really seemed to help. So all in all that I changed was the main gasket. I adjusted the float height just a little bit, stayed with the exact same front setup, and then just went the same 295 jets in the rear. And you know, that's really working well for me here at 4,500 feet. And so the reason I'm making this video is because I just could not find that much information about how to go about, you know, initially trying to figure this out. I mean, the instructions are right here underneath. Hopefully you can read it on screen there, but that's not telling you that much, in my opinion. Especially, it doesn't say anything about getting rid of a bog or a stumble or a flat spot or anything like that. It just has these really rudimentary instructions. But at sea level, it's a lot easier to tune a carburetor usually. Sometimes it's number 1, which is what it's set at from the factory. You just take it out of the box, slap it on, and it runs great. Here at 4,500 feet, that's almost never going to happen. So I want to make this video to kind of show y'all, you know, if you're up here around 4,000, 5,000 feet in altitude, you're going to have to be somewhere around this 18 and 16 mark. Otherwise, I feel as though you're going to be running rich on this 1906 carburetor. Now, of course, all engines are different, and they'll want different amounts of air and fuel, and so that I cannot determine for you. But just for me, I'd say lean, on the side of being lean on here, or you're probably going to wind up with a carburetor that's ingesting too much fuel, particularly when you really get into the throttle and into the RPM range. If there's anybody else who out there who's had a problem like this, please comment your experience. Tell me what you did. Tell me what you've experienced. And also, if there's anybody out there who has good explanations for this, if y'all work for Edelbrock, anything like that, please jump in the comments. Throw your 2 cents in. The one thing that I don't have any information pertaining to on these few pages are there's springs. Yeah, it's not on here. And the springs are rated for different amounts of vacuum. My engine particularly seems to run the best with the pink spring. That's one stage stiffer, which means it's going to pop those jets up, or sorry, pop those metering rods up into the power position a lot more quickly than the orange ones. Well, maybe not a lot more quickly, but a little more quickly than the orange ones to get you into that power range in the cruising. If that makes any sense, hope it does. Hope this helps. Like I said, I just couldn't find all that much information about getting this in-depth into trying to tune this thing. I mean, it started, ran, drove, and as long as you didn't get in the throttle real hard, it ran and drove good. But, you know, there's just some weirdness going on trying to get off the line after I changed things, and then before I changed things, it was just that flat spot during acceleration, which I'm going to kind of blame on the mismatched rear jets, 130, or 192, 195. As soon as I got them both 95, that seems to be gone. Like I said, guys, jump down in the comments, let me know what you think, if you've had experience. If you're a carb guru, let me know. Like and subscribe for more, guys.